often do you read a great book only to forget most of it within a few days? Most people forget up to 90% of what they read, which means that 9 out of every 10 hours spent reading is wasted. The good news is you can flip that around to remember 90% just by reinforcing what you've read the right way. In this video, we'll show you how. The reason most people forget is because they use just one mode of learning, which is to read text, and they skim through the content without thinking. That's passive reading. Your brain naturally learns better when you read actively and engage multiple senses, like reading, listening, writing, imagining, and doing. When you see an idea as a diagram, read it as text, and hear it explained aloud, you activate more regions of your brain. So how do you apply this in real life? Let's find out how to use multimodal learning to absorb and retain more of what you read with 3 simple upgrades to your reading routine. First, build a strong foundation with active reading. Rather than skim through the pages, then forget most of what you read, it's much better to actively engage the content the first time you read it and in from the start. You can achieve this with a few adjustments. Instead of passive reading, highlight key points as you go. Instead of skimming through pages, slow down to think about what you're reading. Ask yourself, what does this really mean? Do I agree? How does this relate to my life? Instead of starting a new chapter right away, pause and jot down key takeaways in your own words. After a focused reading session, instead of closing the book and calling it a day, try drawing diagrams or mind maps to capture how the ideas connect. Instead of reading silently, read the passages or your notes aloud to help your brain process it better. These actions activate more areas of your brain, which helps you to remember the ideas better. And if you don't have time to make your own notes, ReadinGraphics can help. You can still pause to reflect and brainstorm on what you've read. Then use the Done For You summaries to recap and review the ideas in multimodal, text, graphic, and audio formats. Let's deepen the engagement by adding visual learning more deliberately into the mix. Do you notice how every memory comes up in your mind like a movie? That's because your brain naturally thinks and remembers using pictures and patterns. When you turn ideas into images, like infographics or mind maps, your brain can absorb more information as a whole. Instead of remembering 20 separate bullet points, you start to see the overall structure, recognize patterns, and chunk ideas into meaningful groups. Let's say you just finished reading How to Read a Book. 1 week later, how much will you actually remember? Besides reading more actively in step 1, you can consolidate the ideas by adding visual elements. Instead of relying on words alone, try sketching a rough mind map, drawing arrows or boxes to connect related ideas, or doodling ideas as if you're explaining them to a friend. Just a few minutes of visual reinforcement like this can help the ideas stick. If you don't want to make your own visuals, just take advantage of ReadinGraphics infographic summaries of your favorite non-fiction books to see how the key ideas fit together at a glance. Now, let's layer in audio learning to reinforce and lock in what you've read. Listening taps into your brain's verbal and auditory systems, which are great for reinforcing ideas without additional screen time. Instead of focusing only on what your eyes can take in, here's how to use audio for consolidation. Use whole audiobooks to hear what you're reading, record yourself reading your notes aloud and then replay them the next day, or use audio summaries to refresh key concepts while you're exercising or commuting. When you hear the ideas again, especially in your own words, it strengthens recall. ReadinGraphics also includes an audio summary version precisely to help you review on the go. To help your brain remember more and forget less, remember to use multimodal learning to read actively, then reinforce those ideas through visuals and audio. You don't need days or weeks to read one book at a time. With the ReadinGraphics subscription, you can access hundreds of summaries in text, infographic, and audio formats to start benefiting from multimodal learning right away. Ready when you are!